Good afternoon, Ayola. Good afternoon, Manuel. Please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yeah, good afternoon. It's still blank.
Wow. Okay,
Blank.
I just need to confirm it's blank.
Yeah, it's still blank.
Okay, so I will stop sharing and reshare. Let me see. All right, I've started sharing. Please just let me know when it's up. Can you see my screen? Hello?
Yes, it's okay now. We can see.
Yes.
All right.
Something
Okay,
came up.
great.
Welcome to Microsoft.
All right. Right. Okay. Yeah. All right. So we're starting now. Trust you're all doing great, and yeah. All right. Welcome once again to the Microsoft Stamper Platform Meetup session. And in today's bootcamp session, we'll be looking at analyzing and visualizing data with Microsoft Power BI, right? And our main focus for today's session will be DAX measure. We'll equally look at how to create dynamic background, right? And as well data visualization and chart formatting. So those are the things that we'll be concentrating on today, and it's a whole lot. I know it's a whole lot. We'll start while others join us, and if they miss out anything, they can always catch up with the recording. At the end of today's session, we should have a similar report, with the data set which we've shared with us. So this is me, Sansi Obasi, data and content analyst, and these are my handle for the recording and other things. You can reach out to me on my handle. Okay, our guiding principle remains punctuality is key, and one class is also key. One class is also key to us achieving our set goal. Have an open mind to learn. Have an open mind to learn. Mute your mic, please. Always mute your mic when you are not asking question. Ask question as much as you can, in order to get clarity. Ask question so that you will be able to relate easily with what we are doing. And then respect is key. Respect is key. I don't know if the person who has his mic, Ayola, please, I don't know if you're asking question or you will need to mute, please. So yeah, thank you. So in our last session, we looked at we entertained some questions from our previous session, and we equally look at data source. We look at why data model and data model is and data modeling, and we dive into we looked at the rules for creating data model, right? And we looked at the demo. And so for data model, we say data model represent the framework of what the relationship are within a database. I won't go emphasizing on that so that it won't take our time. I know Nonye did justice to that yesterday. So for data modeling, we say that data modeling is the process of creating a visual representation of either a whole information system or parts of it to communicate connections between data points and structures. For further explanation or clarity, you can always fall back to it. I know that this is no need to rush because we did treat this yesterday in our session. So, and more on yesterday's session, we looked at data modeling steps. So these steps are very important. These steps are very important as a data analyst. Where you try to create report, you will be working with tables, right? You'll be working with tables. So, and data model is something that you won't escape, right? You will never escape data modeling so far as you work with different tables. You will never escape data modeling. And for your reports to be accurate, for your to be functional, for you to drive home your set goal, or objective, you need to have a good data model for you to have the accurate report. And these are the step guide for having, for creating a good data model. And all this we explained yesterday, I'm not going to repeat that because we have our agenda for today. If you need more explanation on that, please fall back to the recording. So for today's session agenda, I don't know, in case there's any question with regards to the previous session, please let me know, call on my attention. We're looking at getting data. We'll get our data. I sent us a file, annual sales data. I think that is the name, annual sales data. Yeah, annual sales data. So we'll get that data in. We'll be looking at creating a good data model. This is a practical session. We'll look at how we can create a connection between or among this table. The set that I sent to us has 5 sheets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 5 different sheets. Each sheet contains one table, right? So we'll be looking at how we can create connectivity, how we can create relationship among these various tables in order to visualize. Let's say, for instance, we need to report this revenue here, right? This revenue by region. Now we don't have region in this our table. Do you see that? We don't have region in this our table. Nonye did explain this to us yesterday using the HR trading personnel and the like. Please mute your mic. Please mute your mic. Unless you want to talk, please mute your mic. Hello? Hello, I don't know if anyone can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you, sir.
Okay, please, I just want to say something. In case my line started going off and on, and at a point you can't hear me clearly, maybe I am fast in the sense that before you hear what I say, maybe I will be saying a different thing. Please call on my attention if there is lag in my network so that I can change that. Right, so we are saying that let's say, for instance, you receive a data set, that you receive a table from, let's say, the HR sets. HR sent you, operations sent you, right? And you need to create, a comprehensive report for the firm, because all the data that they are sending you belongs to the firm, right? So you need to, and the firm has staff or workers, and those data pertains to the staff, maybe their pay and the like, whatever payment and data or record against the staff, and other maybe from the HR department, leave and the like. Maybe in terms of productivity, the operation team will be sending, operation manager will be sending in data to you as the data analyst for you to analyze. So they need to see various things, maybe they want to see your activity for the HR. Want to see maybe your productivity for the last 6 months or across the different departments, or your engagement and the like. So for you to achieve all that, right, you would need to create a relationship among this table for you to analyze that. And the process of doing that is called data modeling. So that is what we'll be looking at practically in this session. I don't want to concentrate on explaining that in details because we've done justice to that yesterday. So we'll be looking at introduction to DAX, to measures, to DAX measures. When we say DAX measure, DAX means data analysis expression. I would say that is the formula language developed by Microsoft for SQL Server Analytics, and the Power Pivot for Excel, and as well as Power BI. So you equally use DAX. You equally write DAX in your Power Pivot. Before Power BI came into existence, and DAX, DAX were written, in Excel, that is in Power Pivot in Excel to visualize data, right? Before Power BI came in the Microsoft part, Tableau has been there and other disciplines. But DAX is a formula language developed by Microsoft for SQL Server Analysis Service and the Power Pivot for Excel as well as Power BI. So we'll be looking at that. When we talk about the implicit measure, with your simple drag and drop, you are already working using the implicit measure when you want to visualize your data, right? So I'll be explaining all that. And when we talk about the explicit measure, those are measures that you write, your own calculation. But if you are using the inbuilt calculation in Power BI, those are called the explicit measure. When you drag and drop and without writing any formula, and you get what you want, let's say count, sum, average, mean, max, standard deviation, the like. Those are implicit measures because those measures are inputs. But when you tend to, let's say, perform a percentage order, try to visualize some other things, right? Year-on-year percentage variance of your transaction. You want to see your month-on-month percentage variance. You want to see your transaction count year to date. You want to see your transaction, what is it called? Revenue sum year to date, right? You would need to write your measures to express yourself. That's why we call DAX. We call that data analysis expression. It helps you to express explicitly. So, and that is the explicit measure. We talk about the Core DAX formula. We have the Core DAX formula. This is it, the Core DAX formula. And the Core DAX formulas include the anchor formula, the time intelligence formula, and the variance. Insofar as you want to get insight to your data, you want to draw insight from your data, right? You must use this to get that insight. Among other DAX formulas, there are thousands of DAX measures that you can write, but these are the core that we'll be looking at for you to be that productive, or for you to achieve whatever your goal is generally in the general view. So when we talk about the anchor formula, we say that the anchor formulas are the key to every other DAX formula. The anchor formula are the key to every other DAX formula. The anchor formula are the key to every other DAX formula. If you want to build a house now, first thing first, what will you do? You must lay a foundation, right? You've gotten your land, you've gotten all the material, but for the house to stand, for the 2-story, 3-story, or skyscraper, whatever you want to build, to stand, there must be a foundation laid, right? It can be, you can decide to build on land or build on water, maybe a bamboo house on water. So, but there must be a foundation for you to start, right? So those are the core things that you must have. And whatever you are doing, whatever interior that you be bringing in, or whatever design that you be doing, or number of story building that you want to do at the long run, lies within the foundation. The foundation, how solid the foundation is, determine what happens to the rest of the what is it called, building. So when we talk about anchor formula, hello.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Your line is breaking.
Oh, seriously? Okay, let me share. Just a minute. Okay, let me change. Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. I believe you can hear us as well. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Just let me know if that's happening again. Just let me know if that happened again. So the anchor formulas are the formulas. Anchor formulas. I would say that the anchor formulas are the key to every DAX formulas. We said that the basis on which we tend to carry out the metric that sums and that which counts. For these anchor formulas, we have the anchor formula or the metric that sums when we talk about our transaction count revenue. Revenue sum of our units sold, right? Sum, when you talk about sum in total, right? You are talking about the anchor formulas. And you would want to know, or you want to count, right? Count the number of transactions that has happened over time, right? You want to know, okay, from March to, from January to March, how many transactions did we record? Yeah, you need to count. What was our total revenue from January to March? Our total revenue, you need to sum. For you to calculate every other thing, maybe year on year, month to year to date, and the like, you would need the sum to calculate that. For you to calculate the average, for you to calculate every other thing, right? I said average. For you to calculate every other thing, you would need the sum. Same thing with the count, in one way or the other, right? So these are the formulas for which most other formulas depend on to drive meaning. Now we have the time intelligence formula. I'm trying to explain this because when we dive into it, I'll just be giving a little explanation. We'll continue. Time intelligence formula, we say that every report must have time. That is your date. You cannot have a report, you cannot have a data set without a date. You cannot do anything with that, right? If you have this data now and there is no date, it makes no meaning. Why are you reporting? Every transaction data must have a date. It's certain. But you can have, let's say, name, revenue, maybe your organization has 10,000 employees, right? And the data you receive is just the employee name, email ID, revenue, and other, let me say revenue, or salary of various staff, and you are asked to report on that to create a visualization. Yes, you can create a visualization, but that is not a transaction you get. If such data that you receive is a transaction data, you must have dates, because for each day a transaction happened, it's happened on a particular date. There's a date assigned to that day. It can be 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 30th of maybe January, February, March, April, maybe 2021, 2030, 2050, 2019, and the like, whatever. But there must be a date if you are dealing with transactions. So it's not possible. If I give you this transaction data now to carry out analysis without a date, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Every organization must have a date. So it's something that you must look out. So data analyst, you receive this thing, ask question. Don't just collect, and because you receive the order to dive into it, to do work with that data, you jump into it without knowing what that data can have, if the information given is enough to yield the accurate or the expected results. So those are the things that you need to look, and we say time intelligence formula. These are performed in form of year to date. When you do your calculation to know your year to date, or maybe you want to know your revenue year to date, revenue month to date, quarter to date, last month, last year. You want to know, you are in January, you are in we are in November, right? We want to know this time last month, what was our revenue as an organization, right? We want to know what was our revenue this time last month. And that is called what? Same period last month. We can do that and for the year, and it will be called same period last year. We want to know our revenue same period last year, same period last month, or previous month. So those are the things that we'll be looking at in time intelligence, and we'll have our variance formula, yeah, for reporting and the likes. So, and that is it. So let's dive in. Enough of the talking. And okay, we'll be looking at data visualization and formatting, how to change data source. Let's say I finish creating a report and I want to go on leave. I send the report to you. Given that we are working virtually, you didn't see me. I just email you the Power BI data set. Send you the what is it called, the reports and the Power BI data sets, and ask you to continue. What will you do? First and foremost, if you can't do anything once you download the Power BI reports and the Power BI data set, you can't do anything. First and foremost, what you need to do is to go change the data set, go reconnect the data source back before you can proceed to doing whatever you want to do. It's advisable. So at the end of this training, I will be sending us what we built in this session today. And for us to advance on that, we would need to change the data source. And I will be showing us that. We equally look at how to create dynamic background with DAX, right? How to create dynamic backgrounds. Say for instance, we click this and the background changes. So it's a measure that I've written. There's no magic there. You can't find that here. You can't find it here. You need to create it yourself, right? I'll just show us if there is still time. If we still have time, I will show us how to do that. So let's dive into our Power BI. I just have my Power BI open. I just have my Power BI open. And this is it. Open, please, in case can let me know. So I have my Power BI open, right? So we say for us to go get our data, we click on Excel. I can click here, I can click wherever. I'll just click here. You see where I am? I'll just click here. I want to get my data. I shared with us a file. For this session, right? And it's called annual sales data. So I just navigate to my desktop and I will click on open, right? Selected the data set and click on open to bring in my data. This is the data that I'm bringing in. This is the data that I'm bringing in. You see this? This is what I'm bringing in. So let's be very fast. So what do we do here? All this thing now to us. What do we do here? We just select the table that we want to bring in. We want to bring our model. This is our model. You need to preview it. Our model table. This is our region table, right? Our location table. We need to rename this to location because it shouldn't be called the region. A dimension location. This is our fat sales. We were told how to identify our fat sales yesterday, right? So these are fat sales and these are line of business. Now, all these things, I don't need them. And I have my table 2. What is table 2? My table 2 contains dates. Do you see that? My table 2 contains dates. So you see what I just brought in. Here now, you see you see there is a difference between this. Can you see this? And the LOB, the location, the model, these are all sheets. Why these are in tabular format, right? These are in table format. So I'll bring in my table. I'm not bringing in the sheet. I'll bring in my table. And because I've selected, right? And if you don't have this box to check, right? Click on this display option. You will see enable data. Okay, this enable data preview. This enable data preview. For you to see this, you need to click on this display option and enable data preview in case you don't have that. Now, I remember we said yesterday that Power Query it's an ETL2. Now, this our data is clean, but we still need to do some things, on it. So I will click on transform data. Click on transform data. This is how you get your data into Power BI. This is how you get your data into Power BI. Click on transform data. First thing first, you see we do say that Power Query automatically add two-step to you, or add two-step for you, right? Power Query automatically add two-step for you. But in this case, for the date table, Power Query have automatically added just one step, which is change type. Change type. Okay, so this is my date table, right? This is my date table. We say, why don't we click on dates? We've brought in our date table. Record, I said some of the data are recorded as a table and some are recorded as a sheet. Now, for this, our table on Excel, right? We didn't name our. If we had date, this thing we wouldn't have been seeing this, and table 2 would have been seen. Just a minute, let me change. Hello? Hear me now? Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Hello, I don't know if anyone can hear me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can hear you.
I was saying that table, when we converted it to date. Okay, just a minute. Let me do something. So please, is my line still breaking? My line is still breaking.
For now, it's not breaking.
Okay. So I was saying, because we didn't name our table, that is why we have table 2. So table 2 as the date table name. The other one that has table, right? I mean, the other one that has dates is a sheet. We don't want to bring sheets. We just want to. You might bring in the sheet if you are working with sheets plain, right? But me, I don't want to bring that. I choose to bring in what is in a table format, right? You can decide to bring in if you have it as a sheet, but it's advisable that you convert it to a table, so that when you add data under, those data will reflect in your Power BI report. But if it's just a sheet, once you add data, once you go to the Excel and add data, right? Once you go to the Excel and add data under it, right? It won't reflect. If you add any data here, right? Under your date table, let's say the row 259, right? You add any data in this row, it won't reflect if you have brought in sheet. Most time it won't catch it up. So it's advisable that you convert it to data. Or if you know that what you are working with is static, you are not going to make any change. So you can work on that, right? So that is it. So recall we said that we would need to remove the step added to us by Power Query. You have change type. What I'm going to do is to backspace, remove this chain type, remove the chain type, right? And here let's determine our data type. So what we do, we go to transform. We need to change the data type. We go to transform. Currently our date is showing any, right? We are going to change this data type to date. You see that? Now this now date. Remember we said our year, we wouldn't want to sum it. If you change your year to whole number, this 214, it will be summing. It will sum up when you want to do the calculation. I explained this previously. So we don't need to do that. So what we change that to, leave it as text. Whole number, our number, month number, sorry. Month number. We have our month number, we have our month, we have our day, we have our week. So all this should be text. Okay. Okay, so we're going to do this. We don't want that to sum. So we go to line of business. Line of business, we have our chain type, and this should be just text, and decide to leave this step, but we can just leave this as text. Currently showing any, we change that to text. We go to our model. Go to our model, we have that. So it's okay. We go to our region, we have that. For us not to waste much time, let's rename this our dates to date table, currently showing table 2 as dates. This is where I went to rename. I came here to rename. Then let's go to our fat sales. Our fat sales. Click on our dates. You see, automatically our date is showing date data type, right? Our fiscal period is showing date. Our fiscal period is showing dates. Then our business, we have our revenue and our units sold. Revenue is currently showing whole number. We don't want that. I want mine to be fixed decimal. We'll change that. Say replace. Let me add a new step. I'll add a new step. You see, add a new step, and here this is currently showing whole number, and we are fine. Now what we need to do is to go create, let me rename this. Let's do some renaming. Change this. Okay, I'll do that. So change this to location. Sorry, my stuff don't zoom. My stuff isn't responding to that. I don't know, it has been a challenge over time now. I'm sorry for that. I'm trying if it will work out, but I know that it has been a challenge over time now. Can't zoom in. Please bear with me. So we just change the data type. Now we just change the data type. What we need to do at this point, want to leave here and go to our Power BI. What do we need to do? We'll close and apply. If we close, we just close. If we apply, we just apply. We didn't load. But what we are going to do here is to close and apply. We want to close Power Query and apply whatever we've done to Power BI, and we'll do close and apply. right? I just clicked on close and apply. See here, we on Power BI. I said there are pending changes in your queries that haven't been applied. So it's currently loading. Can you see that? It's currently loading, and once it finishes loading, you should see a green check, a green mark sign here, and you should see our data set here. Can you see that? We currently have that now, and it's loaded. It's loaded. And we have our tables here. Do you see our tables? Do you see our table? Now I'm going to show us something. Let's go ahead to visualize using the implicit measure. Remember I said when we try to visualize, maybe we want to know average, want to do visualization average, total revenue by month, total revenue by year, right? Well, I mean total revenue by region. Remember we have our region, so we want to see total revenue by that. Now what we need to do is to go let's go pick our let's go to our location and pick our region, right? You just click on this, you click on this. Once you select your region, it automatically picks a table visualization for you here. Remember I've explained this Power BI interface previously for us. Hello? Hello?
Hello, my table is showing my Power BI interface.
You said?
My table 2 is showing on my Power BI interface.
Table 2. Did you watch to see what I was doing?
I watched it now.
So what did I do? What did I do to change that?
Maybe I didn't see it too. You change it to
Yes.
date.
So you
Okay,
should change yours, or you can come here. See, do you see here? Double click here.
Yes.
Just double click and you rename.
Edit query.
Do you see
Okay,
why?
no.
No,
Yeah,
just come, be in your Power BI. Double click the table that you want to rename, right? And you rename.
Okay, I've done it. Thank you.
So automatically, we went to our D_region and we selected our region, and automatically it picks the table visualization, right? But I don't need it. We don't need it as table visualization. We want to change that to stack bar chart, and I will select my stack bar chart, having my visual selected, right? And now want to see revenue by what? By region. Manager say, you need to know the region with the highest revenue. Or let's say our stack column chart. Let's use our stack column chart to know that. And what we need to do, we go to our fact sales and select our revenue. See this sum? We have sum, revenue sum, and the need so at least we are familiar with Excel, we are familiar with the sign, right? So, and this is our what? Revenue. But now there's something. I don't expect this. Something has happened. Let's go to our model. Automatically, when we loaded our Power BI to our model, right? My automatically created the relationship for me, but we don't want this, because this is one thing I want us to do on our own. So I'm going to disconnect all the relationship that has been created. We need to create this data model ourselves, so we don't want it to be done automatically for us, right? We don't want that. You see 3 tables are connected to our fact sales, but something happened. We have 5 tables, 3 we are connected. What about the remaining one, which is date? Date wasn't connected. Do you see that? You see that? So let me close this.
Connected. Mine was 4.
Your 4 connected to the fact sales.
Yes, the model, the location.
But mine didn't. Mine was just 3 that connected.
Just 3. Yeah, it's 3.
So it's 3. So what happened to the other one? We want to do that ourselves now. So I just remove all, I just, deactivated all the relationship created automatically for me. And let's go back to our report. Watch what happened. Do you see? I guess you know that this wasn't how this report was showing before we went to our data model, right? Now we have everything showing to be 93 billion. 93 billion north central, northeast, northwest. So without creating what is it called, data model, without having your data model established, you'll be having this kind of data or this kind of visual when you tend to create your report, right? What do you need to do? You need to go back to your data model and create the relationship. Work on your data model, and this is what we'll be doing. Now we have explained everything. I won't dwell much on this. Let's go. Here, this our data model is pretty straight. What we need to do is to connect our line of business to our line of business. And here's our line of business. Line of business. We drag and drop. You click, you hold down your key and drag and drop, right? When you hover your mouse, you should see. Do you see that? You should see what you are connected to highlighted. Then remember we said that you should use the lowest in granularity, the lowest in hierarchy to create the relationship. Nanye did mention about the family yesterday that the last born, if you want to get something from your dad as the first born or the second born, you guys will need to pass through the last born, right? Tell the last born, oh, tell daddy that you need this thing. The last one, we meet the daddy and say, oh, daddy, I need this thing. Daddy will provide such stuff to the last one, not knowing that you guys were the one that sent him. I don't know if that is clear. You guys can't get anything from him, but except through the last one. So we are looking at the lowest in hierarchy. We'll be using the lowest in hierarchy of each table to create the relationship between our dimension table and our fat sales. Detailed explanation was given in our previous session during the Excel class, and yesterday we did justice to that. So to put simply, we just drag this store among regions, market, and store. Store is the lowest in hierarchy, and we use store to establish our relationship, right? Because you can get store in a market and you can get market in a region, but you cannot get region in a market, and you cannot get you cannot get region in a store, and you cannot get market in a store, but you can get store in a market, and you can equally get a market in a store. So it's very simple. It's very simple. You can go to primary school without going to university. You can go to secondary school. You can write your WAEC without going to university. Is that possible? Yes. But can you gain admission to a university for any course without going through secondary school? Is it possible? No. So it's very simple as that. I just want us to have, I'm trying to, as much as I can, to use simple examples so that it's because it's technical but not rocket science. I don't know if that is clear. So we used our store to create a relationship here. Now we have a date, day, and the like. So each day has a date. Today is or Sunday, and today's date is what? 27th November. And you only have 127 November 2022 in this entire life. You can never have 27th November. I said November 2022 again, right? So each day has a date, but you can have Monday, you can have Tuesday repeat itself, but you can never have 27th 11th 2022 in this life again. You can have November, you can have what is it called, Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday, and the like, but you can never have this date. So we are using date as the lowest to create the relationship between our date table and our, what is it called, fact sales. And we drag our dates from our date table to our trade date in our fact sales. Hello? 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 Can anyone hear me? Hello? Hello, I don't know if anyone can hear me.
I can hear you now.
Okay, I don't.
Can hear you.
Can you see my screen? Can you see the data model I'm creating? I just want to
Yeah, I can see it.
sure that I'm
Yes, I can hear you.
okay. Okay, because I normally have this view that I'm sharing my screen, but it seems that I'm not having that. I'm a little bit confused whether or not I'm still sharing my screen. So yeah. So for our model, we'll use the model drag and drop on our model in our fact sales, and that automatically create the relationship, and we can verify that. We can verify that, and that, right? Now we've created our model. If we go back to our report, now we have our data. You have your data. Remember that when we came here previously, nothing was shown here, but now we have some data here, right? You want to see your data, you want to see your dates, you want to see your fact sales, right? How your table looks like. This is it. So this is it. So let's go back to our report. Let's go back to our report. Now you see our reports has slides, right? We now have the accurate reports, right? We now have the accurate reports. Now we are able to create this report using the implicit measure. We created this report using the implicit measure. Let's say, for instance, we need to change this by average. How did I create my model? I thought I just did now. So I was explaining, right? I just finished explaining, and we created the model by just clicking hold down your drag and drop on where you want it to be, and that is how you create your what is it called, the relationship. And as such, once you are done, you finish creating your data model, right? So that was how I created my data model. So I created my data model, and now I can now visualize my data to get the expected results. Now, this report was created using the implicit measure. I never wrote any DAX measure that says sum revenue, right? But automatically, I just drag and drop, and I have my sum, right, of revenue, right? Now, if let me go bring in my, let me say line chart. Let me bring in line chart. We need to do this. Now, see what happened. I bring in this line chart. Do you see this line chart? If I click out and I go select any of my data, let me say I need to visualize here. What do I need to visualize? I need to visualize month, right? Month by revenue. You see, because I'm not clicking in this chart, automatically Power BI automatically brings in a table for me. But this is not what I want. I want this chart. I want this data that I'm bringing in to fit into this line chart. What do I need to do? First and foremost, select your visuals. Ensure that what you want or where you want your data to go into currently have a border. You get? So I just selected this, and you see a border around the to showing that I've selected it. So I can now go and click on my dates. Once you click on your dates, you should have something like this. So, but what we need to do is just to click this, take out this, right? Take out year, quarter, and day, right? But if you don't have this, let me show you something. If you don't have this, maybe when you bring yours, let me just show something. When you bring yours, this is how yours might look like. Let me say dates. When you bring yours in, this is what you will see, right? You will see this. Maybe you click on date and you have something like this. Please, you see this drop down. Click on this drop down. Okay, yeah, click on this drop down. Do you see the drop down? Once you click on this drop down, click currently you have dates checked, right? Click.
No, my own date
here.
is not checked.
Oh, hold on. If this is how your stuff is, right? Click on the drop down. You will see date and date hierarchy. Please click on date hierarchy. Just click on it. Click on it. Once you click on it, it disappears and you have this. You have this. Now, because you want to bring in your year, you want.
Can you come again? I don't know why my own date is showing date on the x-axis, but when I click on that drop down, it's not showing date and hierarchy and date hierarchy.
What chart are you bringing? I don't get that. You said on the x-axis.
I click on the date.
Mm-hmm.
Then the date on the x-axis. Then I click on the drop down. So it didn't bring the date hierarchy and the date.
Are you sure you changed that to date?
Yes.
Are you sure? Because
I'm sure.
You didn't change that, then it should work. If you didn't change that to date. Data type. Maybe if you didn't change the data type. In Power Query.
On the Power Query?
Yes. If you didn't change it, it won't work. So we'll remove this.
What will I do?
Remove this. Go to Power Query and change that. Click on your date again. Go to transform data. You know how to do that. Go to Okay.
Then what should I do? I'm on my Power Query now.
And go to date. Click on date in your date table. Your date table.
Okay, it's already date already now. Okay, I'll click on date.
It's already date.
Yes, by default, it's already on date.
Okay, this is what will happen. Close it. Close it. When you say you didn't see it, can you watch my screen? Watch my screen. When you click on this drop down, you didn't see, you click on the date. I don't know the date you are clicking on, but this, let me show you this. When you click on this drop down, do you have this?
No, I do not have it too. I only have date. I have date, but I do not have that bracket. I have date, but my own did not show that bracket, that box.
So I'm trying to understand why. You will need to share your screen later. You need to share your screen later. There's something you are not doing, or there's something you missed. Or just go ahead to share your screen. Go ahead to share your screen. Just a minute. Let me see something. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I want to share my screen. I was using my phone before.
Okay, let me continue when you are ready then, because time is not our friend here. and we have a lot to cover, and we haven't even started, and we just have 30 minutes to go. And I guess so what we need to do is to click this, right? Select this, take out this. Let's just try and be fast. Take out this, right? And I'll go select my revenue. Let's select our revenue. I'll go close this, or let's go select our revenue, right? And here we go, right? So we have our revenue by month currently. Let's slice and see. Let's say we need to see for each quarter. We need to see for each quarter. We need to see our revenue performance for each quarter, right? Or let's see for each what do we see our revenue by? Let's see line of business. We need to know the line of business that is doing well. I'll select copier sale, right? And this revenue for copier sale. These are printer sales, and this is our service plan. This is our service plan. Just a minute, let me admit someone. This is our service plan, right? So what we do at this point? What do we do at this point? We will need to start creating good visualization. Let me delete this. Can you see this? You see it's currently affecting all this. Now, let's say we need to take out this. We need to take out this. Let's do some formatting to this our chart. Let's do some formatting to this our charts. Let's do some formatting to this chart. Please, Ayola, we will address that challenge maybe once we are done, so that we can cover up with what we have, because we have a number of things that we haven't touched. So let me take out this visual, this slicer, right? Let's go ahead to visualize our data. So what do we need to create currently? We need to create revenue by region. We've done that. Revenue by region. Now, do we want to see this our y-axis? Do you want this y-axis to be up? For me, I don't want my y-axis to be up, right? For me, I don't want my y-axis to be up. So
yes, I've joined.
Okay, please, we'll need to look into that later. Before we close the session, we'll look into that, please, so that we can cover a number of things, because today is the last day for this session, and we just need to catch up because time is not on our side. Please just size patient. Before we close the session, you will share your screen. All right, so let's go ahead to visualize this. Let's go ahead to visualize this, right? What do we do? Let's do some formatting here. For you to do some formatting, we need to take out this. We already know that this our revenue by region, right? Revenue by region. And the manager said, no, I don't know what this bar Southwest stands for, except I try, okay, 15 billion, but 15 billion, I need their figure. I need the figure. I don't need to start scrolling to know where these bars are pointing to. Just can you have the what is it called, the figure on top of each bar, right? Can you have the data label for each bar, right? What do you need to do? First, you take out this, because it makes no sense for you to have this and still have your chart label, right? And for us, we know that these are revenue by region. What do you need to do? Ensure that you always take out all this y-axis and x-axis label. Please ensure you do that, because it's not good. It's not good. It will make your report, it will make you look as if you don't know what you're doing, and it's not even good, right? So what you need to do, we'll go to under our visualization, we have our format pane, right? I selected the visual. We need to do some formatting. I selected the visual, and here we go. Now we need to switch off this. We need to take off all this. This is our x-axis. Let's take out this x-axis label. Let's take this x-axis label. Please, someone should mute. Except you want to ask a question. Thank you. So what you need to do, this title here that is called region. Do you see this title called region? This title called region. This title called region, right? We want a situation whereby this title called region goes off, right? So what do we do? You come to your let's come to our format pane. You go to x-axis, because we know these are x-axis, right? Go to x-axis. Please just watch, because every other formatting in this table, I won't be doing it. I'll just be using the format pane. Once we get this one right, we have no business trying to waste, trying to do same formatting or carry out same action in this chart and other chart that we'll be bringing in. What we just need to do is just to use the format pane and format everything. So for you to take care of this, what do you need to do? Here you go. You click on the x-axis, use this second scroll bar to scroll down. You will see title. Do you see this title? Switch that off, and what should happen? Oh, I currently selected my line chart. Let me select my region, revenue by region, and do that. I selected the wrong chart. So see what happened. See what happened to this region here. Once we switch that off, it goes off, right? Now we need to do same thing for our y-axis, right? So what do we need to do? What do we need to do at this point? You go to your y-axis, click on the drop down, right? When you click on the drop down, use the second scroll bar to scroll down. Is it called title? Scroll down until you find your title. Click that, and you have this goes off. So, but now we want this our label here in our y-axis to go off. What do we do? Just switch this off. Switch this off, and switch this off. So, and that goes off, right? That goes off. Now, these are data. These are data. What do we do at this point? We want our data label, right? Because it's not making sense. And at this point, what we need, go down. Under your format pane, you should see data label. On this data label, on it, and you have your data label. You see that we currently have our data label. Now I don't want this my chart color to be blue. I just want it to be black. I hate all this color fitting. Maybe I was told, okay, please, your chart should be black. Your chart bar should be black or color. So what you need to do, let's go to data color. Click on the drop down for data color and change that to black, right? And this is what we got. So this is what we got, right? And yeah, so what do we need to do? Currently there is, you see this is not looking my chart. Okay, currently you are using your chart interface is different. Not same as mine. Okay. What is it called? The newer version. So you should have same thing. Should have same thing. Hello?
Is the newer version October? Is the newer version?
Yeah.
October
I
2020.
call it version because I was thinking that I have my house as well, but I was thinking that most of us will be working with this. Maybe we have the older version. That's why I decided to use this. But I can decide to go on it. But nevertheless, you just go to format. You will see it. It's written there. You said?
I said if you are done.
Oh, okay. So what you need to do at this point, let's bring some this visual is not looking nice. This visual is not looking nice. Let's bring in some what is it called, formatting. I'll click on this my visual and go to my chart format and scroll down. I want to add what is it called, border. Let's add some border. I'll on the border and change that border to let me say gray. Does that make sense? Okay, let's say we'll change that to black. Let's just change that to dark color, right? And the radius, we reduce the radius, we increase the radius to 14. See what we got? You see what we got? So this is what we got. And what other thing? I can decide to bring in shadow. Let me see. Let's go bring in our shadow and okay. So this is what we got, right? Now, what do we do at this point? What do we do at this point? For me to replicate something here, I will use this format pane. Let's use this format pane to format our second chart, right? And here we go. Now, but this our second chart. We don't want our line chart to have data label. We want it to look the way it was formerly looking. We don't want this. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What do you do, please? You go back here, right? Let's go back. Let's on our white as this and go switch off our data label. Where's our data label? Do you see data label is currently on? Let's switch that off and we are back, right? We are back. So what other visuals do we want to create? What other visuals can we create from this chart? Please look at your table, look at your Excel file, and let's just what other visuals we need to create. What other visuals we need to create? So let me just reduce this. What other visuals we need to create? One way to be fast is to duplicate this. I'm going to come to visual quantity and bring a line of business. Right? You don't know it. You just keep on wasting time, carrying out repetitive action. Right? Now, let's say our manager wants to see our store, right? looking at this our store, we have, given that we have 30,800, over 30,000 rows with different stores, over 100 stores, right? Now we can go ahead to visualize our 100 stores here. What we were asked to do is to display the top 5 stores and the and the bottom 5 stores, so that when we filter, or when we drill to let's say filter a region, we will see the top stores in those region, and we will equally see the bottom stores, the bottom 5 stores in this region, those region that has the least performance, and those region that give the greatest revenue contribution. I mean, those stores that give the greatest revenue contribution in those regions. So those are the things that we want to see. We just want to understand, okay, what is going on, so that it will guide our decision in the coming year, in the upcoming financial year, right? We'll know, okay, this place that we have, or these stores that are giving us lower revenue, given that we have one single policy, or we have similar policy across the different stores, what really happened? What was the cause of this? We can further ask questions, further drill down to know, okay, should we go ahead in the next financial year, as we plan for the next financial year, should we go ahead to into this stores, or these stores should be closed permanently or temporarily, while we concentrate on other stores that are giving us, huge revenue, right? So those are the things that you need to, ask. You need to try to draw insight from your data, and as such, you would need to carry out this analysis. So what do we need to do? Let's visualize the top 5 stores. How do we visualize the top 5 stores? Now, you're going to click this. I'll just copy this, Control C and Control V, right? I just selected the visual, did Control C and Control V. Okay, sorry, I don't know. Can anyone hear me? Someone said that he can't really hear what I'm saying.
We can hear you.
Okay, please, maybe you need to check your internet connection. You need to check your internet connection. Thank you. You need to check your internet connection. Maybe you need to log off and rejoin, right? So, here, let me do this. I just want us to be very fast, trying to achieve something in this session. So, but before we go ahead to create the top 5 or top 5 stores, right? To visualize the top 5 stores, let's see our revenue by our markets. It's one thing that's very important, and I'll have this selected, right? Go take out this line of business. Now I just have my revenue, and we'll go bring in our markets. Go to our D location and click on our markets, right? And as against this, this stack column chart, as against stack column chart, I will change that to bar charts. We'll change that to bar charts. Do you see that? Do you see that? I just changed that to bar chart. Recall, I don't need to start doing my formatting again. I did it for one, and I'm using my format pane, or I'll just copy my visual and edit, right? So I'm trying as much as we can, so that we can cover it often in this session. So what we need to do, let's copy this and create our top 5 stores. Top 5 stores. So what we need to do is to go to our ASIS under visualization, pick out our line of business, right? Let's go bring in our stores. Do you see? Now we have scroll bar. Do you see that? We have have over 100 stores. But this doesn't make sense, right? This doesn't make sense. We just want to see the top 5 out of the 100. We just want to see the top 5. What do we do at this point? You see this filter? Do you see this filter? Maybe yours might be collapsed, but mine, because mine is currently collapsed. Just expand it. I'm going to expand this. I've just expanded the filter. Now, when you come to filter, right? When you come to filter, what do you want to see? Your top 5 stores. You see revenue? You see revenue? You will see store. Please click on the drop down for the store. Click on that drop down button and you see basic filtering. You currently have your filter type as basic filtering. That is what I have mine as. I don't know of you. I don't know of you. I have mine as basic filtering. So I will click on the drop down for basic filtering. Click on the drop down for basic filtering and say top N. Top N. I showed us how to visualize our top N when we were working, trying to analyze and visualize data with Excel using Power Pivots and Pivot Table, right? So just change that from basic filtering to top N. Now we have show item. We have top, right? Now we say top 5. Put 5 here, right? What do you want? It say by value. Top 5 store by what? What do we put here? Say by value. By value. That means you are bringing in what? What are we bringing here, please? If you say by value, what are we bringing in here? Bring in your revenue. Bring in your revenue. Go click on your revenue, drag and drop here. Do you see what I did? Let me cancel and do that again. I just go click and drag and drop here, right? And that is it, and say apply. If you don't click on apply, nothing on apply, and we have that. Now we currently have the top. Okay, just a minute. Let me reduce all this. I will need to reduce so that we have space to achieve a number of, or to carry out a number of visuals. So now we have our top 5 stores, right? We have our revenue by store, right? Revenue by store, but it's not showing that anybody seeing this thing now will not know what this really means, right? What do we need to do? What do we need to do at this point? What do we need to do? You can tell me what we need to do. We need to go to format. It's very important because if you might finish creating your visual, visualizing your data, and someone looking at it won't easily understand what you are trying to communicate. We've reduced the stores to 5, like 5 top stores, right? And as such, our chart title should reflect that, not just revenue by store. Yes, it's revenue by store, but is this all the whole store? No, this is not all the whole store that we have. So we should indicate, very important, please, revenue by what? Top 5 stores. So just add that and you are fine, right? Now I'm going to copy this. I'm going to copy this visual, Control C and Control V, right? Control C and Control V. So just a minute. Just a minute. I'm trying to make this adjustment. So, but we'll try as much as we can to close early. I know that time is against us, but we just do this and we'll bring in our table header and do one or two things for take your question. So, just trying to do some formatting here. All right, so we've done for top 5 stores. Let's do for our bottom 5 stores, right? Bottom 5 stores. So what we need to do here, it's very simple. I'm trying to show us the possible way which you can make life easy. There's no need for repetitive tasks. If you find yourself doing one particular thing over and over again, that means you are inefficient. Yes, you are inefficient. So we've done this thing. I don't need to start going through the process of doing same thing here. I just need to devise a means where I can save time, right? So what we need to do is just to click this, and we'll go here, right? We'll go here, stores. You see store under filter. Yours might be collapsed, please understand it. So click this. Currently it's showing top end, right? And top 5. So where you have show item, please click on the drop down. I'm trying to be slow so that we can easily get this thing. I don't want to rush at this point. So click on the drop down and you see bottom, change that to bottom, right? And say apply. Already you have everything set. You want to report by same thing. Top 5 store by revenue and bottom 5 store by revenue. All right, so I'll just say apply. Let's say apply, and that is it. So so let me just bring in some other visual. Let me just bring in some other visual. What else we need to bring in? Model, right? Let's bring in our model. Let's bring in our model, right? Let's visualize by model. We have other formatting. We'll look at cards, right? We have other formatting or other charts. So let's bring in our model. Let's bring in our model. Now I'm not going to duplicate any charts. What I'm going to do is just to bring in, what do I bring in now? What do I bring in now? What do I bring in now? Let's see. Okay, let me still bring a bar chart. Let me still bring a bar chart and bring in revenue. Bring in revenue. And what we bring in, let's go bring in our model. So we want to see our revenue by model, right? And this is it. These are revenue by model. So, but currently I don't like the way my model is looking. What do we do? Click on any of these that has the correct formatting and click on format pane under home tab and format. Watch what happened. Okay. Now it's very important that you ensure that your chart title has the correct title. Your chart has the correct title. We duplicated this, right? This revenue by top 5 stores. We duplicated it and we created a revenue by bottom 5 stores. But our bottom 5 stores chart title still says revenue by top 5 stores, which is inaccurate, right? What do we need to do? Let's ensure that we rename that. Click on the chart You see it currently highlighted. Go to format, go to format, go to format. Once you go to format, you see title. Do you see title? Click on the drop down for title and change that. As against top, you see bottom, right? See bottom. Right, and enter. So that change. Revenue by bottom 5 markets, right? And that is that. So let me see if I can take this up because of space. I'm trying to manage my space, right? I just want to create a dashboard. I can decide to have as many sheets as I want, right? You can add more sheets. Do you see what I'm doing below here? This is what I'm doing. I can add more sheets, just create, but I don't want to do all that. I just want us to create a dashboard. So you can do yours the way you want. For me, I'm just trying to create a single dashboard where you can have a quick overview of what is going on with your data when you slice, when you slice this data. So what do we do at this point? I'm trying to do something here. Okay, so all right, so this is what we have here. This is what we have here. Let me just close this space here because not looking nice. Right. So this is what we have. Now let's go ahead to bring in our charts. Currently, this data says nothing, right? Let's bring in our title, to this what is it called? This dashboard. Let's say sales performance analysis. Sales performance, right? We call that sales performance analysis. So, and we are going to highlight that, increase the text size to 16. Okay, that is small, and let's increase it to 20. And let's change the text color. This way I change the text color. Let's change the text color to, what do we change the text color now to? Let's say this tab, right? And let's bold. So we are trying to do some formatting. All these are formatting. So yeah, we haven't written our DAX, but we are creating all this with our implicit measure, right? With our implicit measure. And let's bring some formatting. Let's highlight this and click on this. Let's bring in the shape. You see that? To bring in that. So this is what we have. Right? This is what we currently have. So what we do? Let's bring in some cards. Let's bring in some cards. Let's bring in some cards. Remember, we have our unit sold, but we are not visualizing by that. We just want to report by revenue. You can decide to visualize your unit sold. So that's left for you. Let's bring in some cards and bring in some filter. Let's bring in some cards and bring in some filter. So I'm going to bring in some card and bring in my revenue. So currently you have 73 billion, and it's not currently showing nice. So let's do some formatting to this of the category, and let's on the chart title we say total revenue. Total rev. Let's say the total rev, which stands for revenue, right? So what else do we need to do? Our data. What else do we need to do? What else do we need to do? What else do we need to do? Please, can someone suggest what else do we need to do for our chart? Okay, let's go to data label. Let's go to data label and change the size of our text. Let's change the size of our text to, let's say, 20, right? And let's scroll down. Yeah. So what we need to do is to go to our table, our chart title, our chart title, and centralize the title, and use our format pane here. Use our format pane to format this. This is our card. This is our card, and we are back to what we have previously. But never mind. So let's just do this a quick one again. Let's do this a quick one again. So go to here and change this to 20, right? So what do? We come back to chart title. Centralize. So this is what we have. This is what we currently have, right? So let's go ahead to bring in our filter. Let's go ahead to bring in our filter. Let's go ahead to bring our slicer, sorry. Let's go ahead to bring in our slicer. So this is your slicer. This is your slicer. Do you see that? This is your slicer. You have your slicer. The chart with the funnel design, right? Bring in our slicer. Let's bring in our region slicer. Let's bring in our region slicer. Now this is our region slicer. We don't like the way it's currently looking. I don't like the way it's currently looking. I want it to be horizontal, not vertical. So what do? We come to format. You see, slicer header. I don't need slicer header. Do we need that? No. Slicer control. Okay, we don't need that. We'll go to general. You go to general. You see orientation. Do you see orientation? Change that to horizontal. You currently have the orientation as vertical. Change that to horizontal, and you should have this. Let's change this to this. Okay, let's go back and change the background. Let's see. We are trying to do some formatting to this chart. trying to do some formatting to this chart. So let's see this. Okay, so we'll just change that and we'll change the text to white. Yeah, so we have this currently. Do you see that? And let's just go ahead to do some formatting as well. Let's go ahead to do some formatting. And let's on the border. I'm just trying to show something here. So this is what we got. This is what we got. You can decide to bring in, okay, let me just duplicate and quickly bring in other charts. Other charts. Let's do this. So I'm trying to do some formatting here. Right, please just watch what I'm doing. If it's not clear, ask questions, please. So what do we need to do here? Let's change this. Let's bring
will this recording be sent to everybody because I'm already having a low battery?
You said?
I said, will this recording be sent to everybody? I'm already having a low battery.
All
right.
Sorry for that. Yeah, so it will be shared with everyone. Yeah. So, and what do we change this to? What do we change this to? Let's say we need to bring in our quarter. Already, we need to visualize by quarter. So, I mean, we need to slice a report by look the year. Just select it, change the date hierarchy. When you change that to date hierarchy, then you can decide to take out the year. Take out the month, day, and you should have just quarter, right? So if we you see, okay, this is just quarter one, right? For all time, recall that this data is for 2 years. So we equally need the year slicer. So now when we select quarter one for 2015, we'll select a particular region or whatever we want to slice on that. Or what we'll be getting in return should make sense, right? Because your analysis won't be complete when you are not doing a comparative analysis. When you're trying to analyze something and you're not comparing it to some other thing, you are not just, it's no analysis, right? Doesn't make any sense. So, and as such, we want to bring in our year slicer. Let me just duplicate this. You can bring in other slicer if you want, but I will just go ahead to bring in here so that I dive into a different thing, and I guess that is it for formatting before we call it a day. And yeah, but even if we are not able to do the dynamic background, please, it's there on the YouTube channel. You can go and watch it. It's a standalone stuff. So I'll urge you to go ahead and watch it, but I need to take us through a critical thing. So that one is just more or less little stuff that you want to just add on your own, but it's not the main stuff for this training, right? So let's change this. Let's change this to our year. Let's change this to our year. Click on dates, change that to date hierarchy. Remove every other thing apart from the year, right? So currently we have 2016. I don't know if you see that, but 2016 have no data. We have what? Okay, just 2016, but it has no data. But we have 2017 and it has no data. So it doesn't make sense. If you have your date table contains other years that has no data, please always hide such year, because when you deploy such reports and someone happens to click on those year, person will be like, okay, why the year if there is no data for it? So you would need to provide explanation for that. It's not something that the person whoever is involved, why you are sending the report to, easily relates to. And if your report, if whatever report you are creating, you created it in such a way that people cannot derive meaning from it, or cannot gain insight, cannot look at it and easily understand what you've done, that means you haven't done a great work. So those are things you need to put into consideration. Now, our data has only 2 years of data, or contains 2 years of data, 2 financial year, right? But now we have 2016, 2017 and the like. What we need to do is to hide this year. Same thing with some other data. I'm trying to show us this thing. I would have literally taken care of these things in the Excel and the source data, but it's best for us to show so that when we are faced with such challenge, we know what to do. So now what I need to do here is to click on this under my filter. Did you see this filter? Click on this drop down data we have here, right? You change this from advanced filtering to basic filtering. Change that to basic filtering and just click on the years that has data only, which is 2014 and 2015, and you should be fine. You get that? So I can decide to close this now. I can decide to close this so that we have a good view of what we are trying to achieve, right? So I don't know if that is clear. So what else?
Hello, please.
Hello?
Sorry for you.
Go ahead, please.
Please, can you go back to the drop down if you want to hide the year that has no data?
Okay, fine. This is what I did. You just select on the chart or the filter. It can be in your chart, it can be in your filter. Select it, right? You see these filters. You see filters? I'll expand this. Expand. Okay, let me just delete so that I'll start afresh without. Let me start afresh. So this is what I have. And currently I need to change this. Let me start afresh. So click on this drop down, change this to date hierarchy. I just need only my year. I'll remove every other thing. Remove every other thing. Oh, currently it's still filtering. Let me clear the filter. I clear the filter. See, we have 2016, 2017 up to 2019, right? Up to 2020. So for you to do that, just select the chart, right? Under filter, you will see date field. You see that? Because this is coming from the date table. That's why we have date here. So you have that to easily navigate. You see the name there. So what you need to do is to click on this drop down. Do you see this drop down? Expand or collapse filter.
Yeah.
You see that? click on it. Once you click on it, by default, it should be advanced filtering most times. What you see is advanced filtering under filter type. Click on the drop down for advanced filtering and select basic filtering. Select basic filtering. I know that my data, my data source has data for year 2014 and 2015, just 2 financial years, just 2 years, right? So I'll just select those 2 years. If they said, okay, please, the report I'm giving contains for 10 financial year, right? Or 6 financial year, 2014 to down to 2020. That's how many years? 1, 2, 3. That is 7. Currently, we have 7, right? And we are asked to show data for 2014, 2015, as well as 2019, if there's 2019 data. What we need to do is just to come here, select it, right? And that is it. But here in our case here, we just have 2 financial year, 2014 and 2015, and that is it. And we close this. Once you selected that, it reflects in your slicer, and this is it. This is what you have. This is what you have. So one other slicer that we would need to bring, probably I will need to duplicate. We need to bring in the slicer to see our revenue by line of business. So revenue by line of business. So I'll take this out and let's close this and say check this, right? So this is our line of business. We have our revenue by line of business currently. And that is it. So for us to create our DAX measure, right? We've done this using the implicit measure. Now we need to create a DAX measure. That is the last thing that will be taking us through. Let's create a DAX measure, right? Let's create a DAX measure. Let's create a DAX measure. Let me just show us. So for you to create a DAX measure, this is what you need to do. When you if you want to create your measure, where do you want your? I want mine to appear under the fact file, right? Or let me say we want it to appear under the model, right? We want our measure to appear under the model. We'll right click on model, and once you right click, you see new measure. Please click on new measure. Select new measure. Select new measure. Select new measure. Once you select new measure, once you select new measure, right? Once you select new measure, now you will need to give your measure a name. I'll say ref sum, right? Because we need to create our anchor measure, ref sum. Then you start with equals to, right? So what we need to calculate here now, we need to calculate our total revenue. We need to create another measure to replace this, right? We need to create our own measure. This is implicit measure. This was done by Power BI itself, but we need to create a measure that will still perform same action as this measure, as this implicit measure, right? So what do we need to do? What do we need to do? We say sum, right? Sum, then use your tab key to pick that. What do you want to sum? You want to sum your revenue. You know, you can't sum your location. You can't sum your market. You can't sum your model. You can only sum or count. And those are called anchor measures. So sum and count are called anchor measures. So what we need to do here is to select our table, and our table is fact sales. So I will type fact sales. Our sum is required. Our fact table contains a column called category, a column called fiscal period, line of business, model, revenue. So we'll pick revenue and we'll close our brackets, right? And we'll say enter. Click enter. Click enter. And here you have your revenue sum. That is how to calculate your measure. Now, let's calculate revenue for last month. Let's calculate our revenue for last month. Let's say this month now you want to see revenue for last month. We'll visualize that here. That will be the last thing that we'll be doing. We want to see revenue for last month, right? We'll do for last month and we'll do month-on-month percentage variance, and we'll call it a day, right? Other DAX measure, you can check it out on our YouTube channel, please, because time is against us, right? So we need to close fast. I know a number of us have, or all of us have something that we've planned doing, after this session. Okay, so let me take out this. All right, we've written our measure. Now it's under revenue. Under model, right? Let's write another DAX. Where do we want this DAX to appear? We want it to appear under our fact sales. Our right click here. Right click on any table that you want your DAX to appear, right? And write your measure. Right click there and write your measure. So I've right clicked and it's still coming up, still coming up, just taking some time. So now we need to write our revenue sum for last month. Revenue sum for last month, right? Let's say we are in this month, we want to do a comparative analysis, because it doesn't make sense when you try to say, okay, we did this thing. This month we did this total revenue. About this region, these are total revenue. But you are not comparing to any other thing. You are not comparing whether last month or last 2 months. And as such, you can't know if you are making progress or not. The whole essence is for you to gain insight and make informed business decision, right? So one way to do that is to use your time intelligence calculation to achieve that. You can use your time intelligence formulas to achieve that. So let's revenue sum for last month. These are critical parts that you won't find most time online. So just watch. Revenue sum last month. Rev sum underscore LM. Answer last month, please. Last month. And one powerful function that we are going to be using is called calculate, right? We are going to be using the calculate to calculate for the previous months. We be calculate, so we say calculate what are we calculating? Revenue sum. And which revenue are you going to calculate? Recall we said the anchor formula are the formulas for which every other DAX formula depend on to drive meaning. Now we can calculate our revenue last month without our anchor formula, and thank God we've written our anchor formula, which is revenue sum. So we are going to be calling on this revenue sum. Did you see it under fields? Here I'm roughly my mouse. We are going to be calling on this revenue sum. So we say ref sum, and you see that? This is it, ref sum. So we select that revenue sum. Say calculate revenue sum. Now we'll put a comma, right? We want to calculate the revenue sum for last month. That is previous month, right? Previous month. So we use the function. Right? Let's use function previous month, previous month. Now you can calculate for previous day, you can calculate for previous month, previous quarter, previous year, right? And like, but we want to do previous month. So we use tab, select that, and previous month. Now you need to call on your date. You need to bring in your calendar date. So say previous month, here's our calendar date. It's right. Bring in our date table. These are dates. Here's our date table. Here's our date table. These are our date table. And in our date table, we have a column called dates. Remember, in our date table, we have a column called date, and that is what we'll be bringing. These are dates table, and these are dates column. And that is that. I will close our brackets. Say enter. Right? Now, let's go ahead to visualize our data. Let's go to page 2. 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 Let's go to page 2 to visualize this data. Just a quick one, right? And what do we do here? Let me bring a table, right? Now we are going to bring in our month. We bring in our month. Okay, let's bring in our month. Let's bring in our month. Right. Let's bring in our month. And what else do we need to bring in? Let's bring in our revenue sum. Do you see that? This is our revenue sum. Do you see how you calculate that? This is our revenue sum. This is the measure that we wrote. Now let's go bring in, or let's take that out. Let's bring in the implicit measure so that you this too, but it's best most times for you to write your own measure, right? So these are implicit measure, and this the tags that we wrote. The implicit measure, right? You see the header revenue. Now see the one. Let me click on that, and you see it, ref sum. Do you see that there's no difference between these two? Now let's go bring in our revenue last month. Revenue last month. Where's our DAX? Revenue last month, and this is it. I don't know if you see that. So in the month of, let's say now, I just want us to see this. That's why I brought in these two. Do you see? The formula that we wrote is the same, but we can achieve this without writing this anchor formula, which carry out same function as the implicit measure. But we can use this implicit measure to achieve this. For us to achieve this revenue sum last month, the calculation for revenue sum last month, we need to write our own revenue sum formula, which is the anchor measure. You will still do same thing. So for you to do revenue sum for last year or last quarter, what you need to do, follow some process that are same step that I have taken us through. When you get to where you should pick last month, please, or previous month, pick previous quarter, and you get the expected results. I don't know if that is clear to us. So I'll be taking out this because it makes no sense. I'll take out the implicit measure. So we have this. Now in the month of Hello? Hello?
I hear you.
Okay. Just a minute. So let's go bring in our year. Let's bring in our year. Let me go bring in the year. Let's bring in the year so that we filter and see, because it seems that something is wrong with this. It's currently showing some of everything, which is not good. And if you can see that as against we want to see revenue for January, right? We want to see revenue for January. And in the month of February, what we should be seeing is what? 7 billion, right? But what we are currently seeing is 3 billion. So something is not right. Is it that something is not right, or we haven't done the right thing? Now, probably we haven't done the right thing. We need to filter. Our calculation is correct, but we need to filter, because this 2 years what is it called, data. So probably one of the year started, I had no what is it called, record for January. So let's bring in our year. Let me see. Do I sync? Don't sync. So let me bring this and filter 2014, and let's see. So now, do you see? When you slice by your year, you should have the accurate report. So January 2014, right? You have 3 billion 900. Sorry, let me just bring this to the center so that, okay. So can you see this? Okay, this is working now. So can you see this? If I unfilter, right? Unfilter, do you see? Here we are having in this month of February, we're supposed to be having 3 billion for January, but it's giving us 7 billion. I don't know if you see that, but now towards the tail end, we find out that the record that we are having towards the tail end is correct. We have December, in the month of December, right? Looking at the month of December, for our revenue sum last month, we have 4 billion, right? While in the month of November, we have same figure. But for the beginning of the year, it isn't so. We are having a disparity, like a difference. So what we need to do is to filter, because it's currently summing the 2 years together. And for one of these years, there is no data. So what you need to do, you either filter 2015. You see, you filter 2015. 2015 don't have enough data. You see? You see? So, but 2014, go to 2014. 2014, you are having the accurate data. You see that? So if you go to 2015, this 2015 is picking the what is it called, the financial record of 2014 December. This record now, this record that you are seeing is for 2014 December. Now if we go to 2014 December, can we see this what is it called, this 3 billion 966 million? Let's go and see if we will see that. Do you see that? We have that here.
Yes,
3 billion 966 million. So that is how you do your analysis, and that is how you check to ensure that your calculation is giving you the accurate result. Please always vet whatever you do, no matter the amount of pressure, before you dish out such reports. anytime you create a report and you're under, pressure trying to do something, if you haven't reviewed it, don't give it out. It's better not to have a report than to have a wrong report, because the consequences of giving out a wrong report, it's something that you can't tell. But for the consequences of you not carrying out or doing that report is something that you can easily handle and fix. But giving out a wrong report, it speaks more about you, like it speaks more about your person, maybe in terms of paying attention to details and the validity of your work. For people to trust you, for the management to trust you, you must give the accurate report. And for you to get the accurate report, you must ensure that certain things are in place. This among others, right? So that is it. That is it. How you create your revenue sum for last month. You can do same calculation. So if I want to do for last year now, let me show us a simple trick. I'll click this. Okay, now I've written this my anchor measure. I purposely wrote this my anchor measure under this what is it called? What is going on? Just a minute, please. I purposely wrote this my anchor measure under this model, right? So as to show something. Basically, I want my model, this anchor measure to show in this my fact sales. I don't want it here. I want all my anchor measure to show here because I might be writing 10, 50, 15, 20 measures. I want them to be in a particular place for easy navigation and selections, right? So what we do is just to click this. Once you click the measure that you've written, do you see measure name? Do you see measure 2? You now have measure name. Now, go here under home tab. You see the underscore model, which is where our measure is currently showing. Please click on the drop down to change that to fact sales. We want to move this our measure to fact sales. That is how you can move it. Watch what happened. This disappears now. Do you see? It has disappeared from here, and we have that. Where do we have that now? Still loading. Where do we have that? We have that here, right? And that is it. So one trick, a quick one, one trick for you to write other measure. Let me just show you one trick and we'll call it a day, right? I'll copy this. I just double clicked this my measure. I want to write for last year, revenue sum last year. I copy and I close. I'll just come here, right click on new measure, right? Just a quick one. In the next, to be precise, 5 minutes, we are done. 5 minutes, we are done. So I copy that, I paste, right? I'll copy and paste, and I will change the name, revenue last year. Instead of LM, I will change this to LY. I will change this to LY. That is last year, right? Last year. Calculate revenue sum. Instead of previous month here, I will change that to previous what? Year. So I will say previous. Previous what? Should I do year or quarter? Let me do quarter. So you can do year to check that out. Let me say last quarter, right? And say okay. So let's go and visualize. Let's go and add that to our visual. Let's go and add that to our visual and see how that looks. Why is this thing taking time? Okay, so here's my measure, and this is it. And these are previous quarter. I don't know if you see that. So for the month of January, February, March, when you sum up this total, when you sum these three, January, February, March, you should have 12 billion 170 million 909 900 911,560, right? 12 billion 170 million 911,560. When you add January, February, March, April, you should have that. You see that? So you keep on having same figure up till July. For July, when you add up April, May, and June, you should have 12 billion 333,000. 333 million 142,680. I don't know if you see that. So that is how you do your own calculation and visualize. So please let me know if there's any question. And that is it. That is it. So we weren't able to do the dynamic what is it called? But I'll be sharing with us a video link for us to watch that and do that, carry out that action on our own. Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay. Yes. I'm coming. I want to know, like, I told you that my visualization chart is quite different from yours.
Okay.
I told you that my visualization chart is quite different from yours. So my own up, as you said earlier on that I should
hold on.
screen record maybe.
So we've come to the end of this. You share your screen now. We've come to the end of this training. Please let me know if there's any question. Apart from, I think is that your last speaking, right? Apart from
sure.
Okay, so I don't know if there's any question, any comments before you log off. Right, so we've come to the end of this. I'll be sharing with us a video, a recording on how to create a dynamic dashboard. So this is how you create your, when you're creating your report, you do a comparative analysis. If you're working with historical data, right, you try as much as you can to do a comparative analysis, because that is only when you are trying to gain insight, or you are trying to communicate properly. Right? If you just present the data like that without a comparative analysis, it makes no difference from not having a report, because one won't know what has happened and whether or not we are making progress or not, right? As a firm, So you just need to think through all this and ensure you implement it. Thank you everyone for making it to the session. I believe that this will go a long way to helping us and to advance, our careers. So thank you. So over to you, Ayola. So let me stop the recording so that I wouldn't elongate that.
Okay, just.
Is that?
Oh yeah.